Alright, it's the moment I've been waiting for, double chain rule. So we get double chain rule in this assignment, quite exciting. So let's go ahead and go through it. So I'm going to rewrite this so we have all of this to the 1/2 power. And then we have on the inside of 3, it's just a coefficient, not too big of a deal. And then it's cosine, really it's cosine of x cubed. So the cube is actually the outer function of this inner function. Sounds kind of crazy, but hopefully we'll make some sense of it right now. So the cosine cubed of x is just cosine of x cubed, and that's all inside of the square root, right? So that is what we need to find the derivative of. So let's start with the outer function. The outer function is bring down that 1/2. And then we take away 1 from it, so it becomes negative 1/2. And then we keep the inside the same. So I'm just going to write it back in that cosine cubed of x form that we see right here. But we need to take the derivative of this, the inside function. So we're going to times it by the derivative of the inside function, which is 3 times cosine, let's keep those colors consistent. Cosine of x is an inside function itself being raised to the 3rd power. Now, isn't this exciting? So what about that derivative? All right, so let's just ignore the other thing. Let's just think about how do we find this derivative right here. So this derivative right here, if we're asked this in a separate question, well, this is the outer function, the 3, right? Comes down to the front to become a 9. And then it'll have the power of 2, right? Let me put that all in green, actually, just to represent that green. The outer function 3 comes down, meets that, becomes a 9. Take away 1, becomes a 2. Keep that inside function the same. So we're treating this like it's its own problem. And we're ignoring everything else that happened because we need to take the derivative of this. Now we need to multiply this by the derivative of the inside. A lot of people get confused on when do we stop. Well, I mean, if you multiply by the inside, this function is just a 1, so you stop here. So really, we're just taking care of this like it's its own problem. Bring down the 3, take away 1, then it has the inside function of cosine of x. So the derivative of cosine of x, my bad, is negative sine of x. So now let's bring this in the scope of the entire problem. So we have, don't forget, there's that 1/2 times 3 cosine cubed of x to the negative 1/2. So now we got to figure out what goes on the top, what goes on the bottom. So I can tell you right now, what's on the bottom is the 2. And this negative 1/2, we'll send it to the bottom. Everything else, you can picture as being over 1, right? So it's all going to be on the top. So I'm going to draw a big fraction sign. We have this negative times a positive 9 is going to be negative 9. And then sine of x times cosine squared of x over 2 times the square root of 3 cosine cubed of x. All right, let's see if we can find this down here. So this is exciting. Oh, it's actually here. Look at that. That 2 looks too much like a C. I go through phases. So some days my 2's look good, some days they don't. And this is exactly the same. Remember, commutative property multiplication. We could switch those out. Let's take a look at another one. I left all this room thinking I would need it. That was actually quite easy. For me anyways. So we have quotient rule going on here. Not a big fan of quotient rule, I'll be honest. So we're going to have to use f prime times g minus f times g prime all over g squared. So that's what I'm going to do. So f prime, so let's focus on that. So f is natural log of x cubed. So f prime is going to be 3 times natural log of x squared times 1 over x. So it'll be 3 natural log of x squared over x. All right. Then G is x cubed, so G prime is 3x squared. So let's put this together. So we're going to have f prime times G. So that's 3 natural log of x squared over x times G is x cubed minus f is natural log of x cubed. Let's give a little more room here. Times G prime is 3x squared. And all of this is over G squared. So let's see what we can get. We're going to simplify this, probably factor something out. So simplifying this a little bit, x and x cubed will cancel with each other. So x and x cubed to give x squared. So we're going to have on the top 3x squared natural log of x squared minus 3x squared again, actually, times natural log of x cubed all over x to the 6th. So I can factor out a natural log of x squared total and then also 3x. So let's factor that out. 3x squared and then the natural log of x squared. And what we're left behind with, well, we factored this whole thing out, so that leaves us with a 1 there, minus we'll be left with, well, we got rid of 3x squared, we'll be left with one of these, right? Because we took 2 of them, so we'll be left with 1. A very crooked fraction sign. Over x to the 6th. Simplify that with the x squared, and we get 3 times natural log of x squared times 1 minus natural log of x all over x to the 4th. And I'm looking for that here. That one's messed up a little bit with that x there. This one looks like it's spot on.